Hi everyone, today in this video we are going to make a simple GRPC service. It will be a basic service that is already provided by the Visual Studio 2022 template. So basically we'll be configuring the service and making some changes to see how the GRPC service works. So as we all know, GRPC service is nothing but a remote procedure call, right? So all the things that you achieve via an API can be achieved via GRPC also, and it has some advantages also, and it also has some disadvantages. So I will not lecture you about the advantages and disadvantages. You can Google it out, but we'll go through a practical exposure of how to write a gRPC service and how to check if your gRPC service is working well or not. I'll also show how to debug it. So for this, I'm gonna use a Visual Studio 2022. So if you see, I have already opened Visual Studio 2022, and if you see the recent project templates, we have ASP.NET Core gRPC service. If you cannot find it, just search for templates here, gRPC, and you will get the gRPC service template. Once you select it, you just need to click on next and then go ahead. Now as you can see, we have the project here. So let's name the gRPC service. So maybe we'll name it some our first gRPC service. So let's say hello gRPC. Hello gRPC. That will be the name of our project. You can give it a name that you want. So give the location that you want it and just click on next. It should create the project for you. Okay, if you see here the framework, what framework do you want really to your service to be at? So if you click on the down arrow, you can see multiple options like .NET Core 3.1, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So except 8, all of them are out of support. That means they are outdated and you don't have any security. If you have any security problem, they're not going to support. So let's go with .NET 8 so that if there are any security patches, you will receive it. And I also recommend you to always use the latest version of it. Now there is a very interesting thing. If you see, it's already clicked do not use top level statements, right? So let's see what is this means. I guess the eye is not working, but yeah, I'll tell you what it is. In old way of C Sharp, we need to import the system files and everything, right? So that's the old way. In the new ways, most of them are already imported and you don't really need to write it. But since I prefer the old way, I'll be going with this. And let's click on create and your project should be created. Let's wait. Okay, our gRPC service is already created. So the first of all, let's understand the files, right? What are the files? If you see the dependencies in the packages, they have ASP.NET Core gRPC 2.57. So this is the latest version of the ASP.NET Core gRPC Nugget package that is being used to define the gRPC service. Let's go to the properties. You can see there is a launch settings.stations. Now this is going to define which port or which location is your gRPC service going to run. So I'm not gonna really change it, or we can change it. So do you wanna change it? Let's make it some numbers, right? Okay, let's say 6050. Wow. So we'll go ahead with 6050. So this will be some endpoint that we want to listen to us, right? So we keep it 6050, and this is for HTTPS and this is for HTTP. But yeah, let's go ahead. So we have defined our custom port now. We're not going ahead with the port that .NET gave us already. Let's go to greet.proto file. Now if you look at this file, right, now, does it resemble something? It has something known as service definition, then there is a greeting, request message, and response message. So let's go step by step. The first line says syntax proto3. That's going to define the syntax, right? Proto3 is a syntax that is being used, the latest syntax that is being used to write gRPC service, that the namespace is there, the package is there. Now see, the service name is greeter. If you see this, remember the service name is a greeter, right? The profile defines the service as greeter. You can think of it as a class, right? It's a class, and inside the class there are member function. That is the same way we have a service, and inside the service we have remote procedure calls. So if you look at line number 10, remote procedure call, Say hello, that's the function name. Hello request, that is the parameter. Returns hello type, that is the data structure that you are going to return. So hello request is nothing but the request or the parameter that the function say hello receives, and it says it has only one parameter name, and hello reply is the return type of the function say hello, and it also has only one parameter, that is message. So let's make a modification. Okay, let's make a modification. Let's range something string address. So we have one more. It's not like you just need to use them, but yeah, you cannot use int here. You need to use int32 or int64 depending on the number of on the type you want. But I will be using int32 age. Let's say make it 3, and instead of only returning message, let's say we also return uh, a string that is telling us some message like success message, right? So we'll say it's the string response, and we'll name it too. Now if you see, I have numbered it 1 2 3, so that's going to define the number of parameters we have, and that's how grpc recognizes the parameters, right? So it's you always go with 1 2 3. If you want to add one more here, you just say it's string my place say 4. That's how it is going to be. So we have modified this. Let's check some more file that we have. Okay, inside services, if you see, greeter service is there. And if you remember, the service name that we defined in greet proto was greeter, right? So here, like when the protobuf compiler compiles it, it creates greeter.base, and from that we are inheriting the greeter service. We have defined the logger, but we are not going to use the logger anywhere. If you want, you can remove this guy since we don't use it anymore here. If you see the task reply, the request was before only one thing, but now we have three parameters. And see, let's modify the message, and the message also has two parameters, right? So we'll modify it. Hello, hello there, hello there. GRPC username is, let's say, request.name, and we have uh, address, right? So address is request.address and age is request.age. So let's go here. So if you can see, I have written it. Now there was one more parameter that we were returning, except message. It was response. So let's write response. Now what is response? Now hello reply. Did we save it? I think that's not built yet. So yeah, message one, response two. So go back to this. Task hello reply. Mm, let's say make it response. What should be successfully reached the GRPC server. That looks good, right? Now it says something. Let's give a comma. That looks good, right? Because we defined comma here. So this should be that. Let's see if there we have app settings.json. That's going to define the protocols that we are going to use in HTTP HTTP2. So that means here only the HTTPS will work. You can define HTTP for the local host to work. And let's see the program.cs. Here we have something communication with gRPC endpoint. See, here is a line they have written: communication with gRPC endpoints must be made through a gRPC client. So what is it happening? Like, if you want to achieve something, like you make an endpoint, like say hello, you cannot directly access it via a browser or a web application, right? You have to create a gRPC client for that. But there is a way in which we can access it from web-based applications also. So for that, you need to install the grpc web package here and then create a client from that, and then you can access it. So for now, okay, communication with, we don't need this. Let's rename the message also. We'll say grpc service is up, right? grpc service is up and running. Now, when our service is up and running, this should be the proper thing. Let's build our solution. As you can see, the build has succeeded, and let's start it. So our gRPC service is up and running. Let's wait for a while. I think HTTP, we have an error. The 6050 is already in use. Okay, not a problem. We'll stop the debugging part. Let's go back. Our launch settings.json. So we modified it as 6050. Let's keep it 7080 and same. And now see. Let's see. Now it should open in 7080. Okay, I think we have not built it. We need to build it. Let's go back. It's not cleaning up or something. Let's go to launch settings.json. Just saved and everything looks good. So let's go. Just clean the service. Cleaning is done. Let's build it. Let's start it. Okay. Let's wait. So you can see it's already running. Let's click on this link. And gRPC service is up and running. The message we are getting, that means our service is working perfectly fine. The configurations are well. Let's go down. Now, how to check our messages, right? If they are working fine. So if you go back, if you have a postman, just open a postman. We'll be needing a postman here because we have not created a client, but postman enables us to directly hit a gRPC without like creating an actual client. We just, if you have it, just click on Neo and you can go to gRPC, select gRPC, and in service definition you need to import your proto file. So you click on import a file, you can choose the file, the proto file, so it should be in your location. Just choose it. So if you select, see, I have already selected the profile. Once you select the profile, just select the method that you want, say hello, and what is the URL? The URL is something with https://localhost 7080. I think it was 7080. Yeah, it was 7080, so it is 7080. Let's go to message. So if you remember, the request message has three parameters and it should come already. So the first will be the name, say dev under attack, give a comma. Let's go down. What should be the name? Address, let's say YouTube. I belong from YouTube, right? And let's say not a dot but a comma. Third parameter, let's say the age. Age can be a number. Say I am 28 years old. So this should be, let's hit it, see if it's working fine. Yeah, here you see the message and the response are coming well, right? Hello there, gRPC username is this, dev and the tag, and YouTube is this. So let's go back to your code and you see it's working fine. Let's stop the service. Let's add one more function, right? Let's write one more function. So let's go to greet.protofile. So let's say now we have an RPC. Let's define another function. RPC count parameters. Okay, that's going to be count parameters, something like this. Now the count parameters, he will take the hello request only as the parameter. We are not going to define another input parameter for this, but for this they will return something different. Let's not say hello reply, but let's make another message here. Let's say message uh, count parameters, and that's count parameters. So we'll have something like count parameters. But since the name is same, you can keep the name same or you can keep the name different. For me, I'll just name it different. Let's say instead of count, I'll just name it so that we don't have any confusion. Return parameters. Okay, so we have another function return parameters, and let's control save it. let's go back to our Gita services. We need to write the function. So come down the class. Let's override the function public override task. And what is going to return? The return is nothing but count parameters. Count parameters. It looks good. Not say hello, but let's name it a count parameters function. But it's return parameters. The function name is return parameters. It takes hello request. Say request, comma. We need a server call context. So instead, we don't need really return a new count parameters, but now we'll return new count parameters. And it has only one, that is the number, right? So let's go back to create profile and see. Yeah, that looks good. Everything looks good. So let's copy its count, right? So go back to counts. Count is count a string or a int, right? So count equals to request.count, not request.count, request dot that looks good. So we don't need a here we so there's a problem. Let's see what is the issue. Okay, now so if you see everything looks good, count is okay, request.calculate size, so that will probably give us some value, maybe by the value, not the number, but that's fine, right? So yeah, we have written another function. Let's build our program. Okay, so you see it's built well, right? Let's start the service. So let's wait for the service to be up. You can see the service is up. Let's go to the service, see if it's up. Yeah, our service looks up. Let's go to the request body, but instead of say hello now, okay, you need to go to service definitions, import it again, or maybe just refresh it. Now we should have the return parameters. Okay, the message remains same because it's accepting the same body, but if you see the output should be different. See, the count is 27. There's like 27 bytes going there. If you change the method and hit it again, see, that's completely different. So our GRPC survey works fine for now. I have written a different function also, so that's how you can write some other function if you want. And that's all for today. Maybe next time we'll be writing another service file and then doing some more complex thing, writing multiple clients.